Okay, sorry about that. I don't know actually what happened there, guys. We lost our online service, but now it says we're back on. So hopefully everybody doesn't think that we took the rest of the day or rest of the night off. So, um, you know, some days you have those Mondays that are just that way, and I guess it's just kind of the way it goes. I don't know really what actually happened there, but anyway, so at least we got we got 6 people watching this now, so
we're back.
We're back. Yep, Amy says we're back.
All right.
Well, so if anybody's got any questions, we got plenty of time now. We're all back and ready to go. And
you know what really sucks is I think the last 3 or 4, I don't know if anybody even got, and I don't remember what they were, and now they're gone. So if we didn't get to your question and you didn't hear a response, I would re-ask it.
What's a okay? The first question we got, what's a good index number for the right rear on a IMCA modified? We only index it about a degree. I mean, it's very little. 0 indexing to only about a degree, because I don't really want the right rear is doing multiple things. It's indexing as the car rolls over anyway. So if you pre-index it, it can actually make the car a little bit tighter in corner entry. What's your opinion on that, Chad?
Yeah, I would always be into the spring so that when you start your motion, you're going the right direction you want to go.
Okay, dynamic toe. Is it normal for the right front to gain? You know, like I said, Kevin, what I would probably do, I definitely would bump steer that right front and make sure that it's not towing out a bunch on bump, because when it changes like that, that's a good indication that it's bumping out. When you check it in dynamic and you get a whole bunch more toe out, that's usually a bump steer problem, and you're going to want to check that. The best way to, and usually what's happening is if it's towing out, that means that the outer tie rod is either too high or the inner tie rod no, the other way around. The outer tie rod is too low or the inner tie rod is too high. So what I've done in the past, and we've done that on some cars, is we oversize the holes on the idler arm so that we can tip the idler arm slightly with using the factory holes, but just being bigger. And so I would definitely, because it's what's happening is it's towing out on bump, and you need to correct that. Is it true that the more the track is banked, the lower the wedge? Yeah, that's it. That's pretty common. You don't. The more the racetrack's banked, it doesn't try to de-wedge the car as much. So the car is actually not rolling as much and rolling off the left rear. But on a normal deal, I don't change much for wedge. I just work with stagger and work with my trailing arms, whether trail or lead or whatever. Okay. Took my buddy's car out this weekend. The car was good through the whole corner. And then like a light switch, the traction was gone and exit and spun instantly. Any ideas what could cause this? Shocks? I doubt that it's a shock. It's more than likely it's a suspension bind, a suspension bottoming out. We had an issue like this with a car. What was actually happening was the tail shaft in the transmission actually was slightly twisted, so the drive shaft wouldn't go all the way in the transmission. So it would go in about an inch and lock up, and then all of a sudden bust the tires loose. We couldn't figure out for the longest time what was actually causing the problem because the car was perfect. It worked great. Come up off the corner, good. Get about 100 feet off the corner, and then it was just like snap, hit ice, and so I would check for suspension binds. I don't think a shock would cause a problem like that. If a shock's going to have a problem, it's going to have a problem phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. It's just going to have a problem all the way through the corner. And that's on a metric chassis. I would believe something's bottoming out somewhere that's causing that thing to bust loose. What do you all recommend for trailer lead on the left or right side of an IMCA modified? Well, it depends on the situation. On an IMCA car, where we're running, 2 3/4 inch of steer in the car, we work a lot with lead. We play with that quite a bit because, once again, people get confused with lead and trail. They're in static situations, like if you shorten the left front, or if you lengthen the left rear, you think that the car's gonna not respond correctly. Well, the problem is it's never in that situation. It's always in dynamic, and in dynamic, it's always got trail in it, period. So basically, when we take and put lead in it, we're actually taking some of the dynamic trail out of the car because of the steer in it. So I always run static lead in my cars. It might only be 1/8 of an inch, and then adjust accordingly. I think the most I've ever actually went is 3/8 of an inch. And I know some guys go more than that, but I don't recommend going more than that, or I don't anyway. Hey guys, Northern Sport Mod metric chassis. We talked before, and I'm running springs and bar angles you recommended in the car, amazing, but still no traction off. It's like on black ice. Need some ideas. Boy, Dustin, once again, if the car works good in certain areas and then all of a sudden quits working, that's usually a suspension bind, drive shaft bottoming out, something to that effect. When it gets to that situation, if it has no traction off the corner, the only thing you can do is put some lead in it and up your rear percentage a little bit to try to help that. But I'm still believing that there's very possible there's some sort of a suspension bind someplace. Previous comments, Steve. Oh yeah. I hope you were still watching, Steve, when I read the fact about your grandson got his first win in the A main and the GRT BHE sport with shocks. And I'm assuming it was a sport mod division. So that sounds pretty cool. Congratulations, Dylan. And we sure thought that was pretty cool. Moving the left rear spring of Amy's given us those questions from before.
Yeah.
Moving the left rear spring from the sport mod outboard towards the infield tightens the car or loosens the car. I actually think it will loosen the car on corner entry slightly, and tighten it coming off. The thing of it is, though, the closer you get to the wheel, the stiffer or the lighter the spring has to be, because if you have a real stiff spring and you're real close to the wheel, it's not going to be enough action. It's going to be too stiff, and try to load that tire. It's not going to load the tire. It's just going to put force on it, which is going to cause it to possibly break loose. Took a buddy's car out. I already answered that one.
Yeah.
Now I have a sport mod, and I have 200-pound springs across the back. What would a 175 on the left and a 225 do? Well, that's actually our normal setup, is a 175 left rear and a 225 right rear. We even got some people that are on 150 left rears and 125 right rears on a sport mod car. I know there's some guys even driving softer than that. I've not had good luck with anything softer than that. What I've found in the past, that 150 and a 225 works really well. That makes the car a little bit more side bite, keeps the car a little bit tighter getting into the corner, and then you can put more preload in that left rear and make it so that left rear has got more response. And it seems to work pretty good, in my opinion. Factory stock car with no weight jacks, stock mounting points, everything stock. Like I said before, you might not have heard it, but Terry, we've got I got a guy that works there. I'm not as familiar with those cars as what I should be. We've got a guy that works at the shop there, works in our shock room. His name is Brayton. I'd give him a call. Seems to me, I'm thinking we run a 150 in that left rear, is what I've heard him tell people in the past. So, feel free to give him a call and he can give you some ideas. Just call him at the shop there. And the number is 515-292-9200. And Blake, I think we've already answered your question, but we'll answer it again.
Can you hear me? You muted yourself, I think. I can't hear you.